Hello everybody, welcome to 3Y TV and welcome to NorthWest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products here on YouTube. I'm Peter Short and joining me in the booth here tonight is Carlos Acosta. And tonight we have the first of the two Mountain View Classic Twin 150s. Of course, tonight's feature race is here at Myrtle Beach Speedway, a very unique racetrack with some very unique challenges. And one of those you can see right there, and that is the unique shape of this racetrack. It should be a fantastic race here tonight, Carlos. Carlos, I've seen quite a bit of action here in practice, and part of it is down to that unique shape. But what have you seen out there on this racetrack?
Oh, I haven't really been seeing out there much. This is a brand new track to me. As we can already see, almost in the top middle of the screen, there's a cluster of about 9 to 12 vehicles. Besides it being a very unique racetrack, you were mentioning something unique, and that is turn one is going to be very difficult in how you approach that corner and how that can result in your tire wear management throughout the race. Because something with the iRacing NorthWest Tour, you guys have to remember, you only get one set of tires for this whole race, Peter. And besides managing all your tires, it's what else are you seeing out there?
Well, managing your tires is going to be very, very important for multiple reasons, and one of those reasons is because turn number one is basically one long corner that starts at the start-finish line and goes all the way halfway between turn number 1 and 2. You can see right there, there's really no straight portion to brake going into turn number 1, so all of these drivers will be trail braking into turn number 1 quite a bit, and saving your tires is going to be very, very important for your braking capacity here tonight. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. There's the number 20 of Nick Bellamy, some really tight racing here in practice with the number 6 machine of Cameron Dole. There they go into turn number 1, and you can see on the right side of your screen, right down there at the bottom of the racetrack, there are some little pillows that you can hit. There we go. Look at the digger cam here. Looks like the number 47 of Josh Robinson now rolling out into the racetrack there. But those little pillows, man, those things will kill the front end of your race car. So that is something we're going to have to keep an eye on here tonight as we quickly move towards the race here. It shows 15 minutes here in practice, but I think we're going to advance to the race here pretty quickly. Do you want to highlight the Mountain View Polaris? Mountain View Polaris has actually put up a prize pool for this race. Sorry, getting choked up over my words, but a prize pool for tonight, which is very, very cool to see. $100 is going to go to the best average finisher over the 2 races that we have lined up for you this week. And of course, one of the races here tonight at Myrtle Beach, and then we have another feature to follow tomorrow here on YouTube on 3Y TV for these iRacing NorthWest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products drivers. And they always put on a great show, so make sure you tune in tomorrow night for that one, because it is going to be a spectacular one. But Brad Morrison, one of those drivers here in the iRacing NorthWest Tour, he's actually kind of the owner of that Polaris dealership, Mountain View Polaris, which is located in Moses Lake, Washington. So if you're up in the northwest portion of the United States, go check out Mountain View Polaris. If you need any type of Polaris, whether it's an ATV or a snowmobile, etc., that will be the person you're going to want to go talk to. Of course, one of the sponsors of the NorthWest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products, but the sun is continuing to set. Let's see if we can look at the current track conditions, because that is going to be a talking point here tonight. Currently 93-degree track temp. That is quite warm, Carlos, especially for this time of night, and I'm sure that is adding to why these cars are so slick out there.
That's true. Taking a look at some of these cameras that I've been watching, they've been getting almost a little loose in and definitely loose off. I know this year one of the main focuses for the season was to make the race cars looser, to have more of a battle within each other, as opposed to, battle within yourself, as opposed to having a battle within the other drivers around you. That's one of the main focuses. And throughout this whole season, which, mind you, we're nearly wrapping it up. After this, we have like 3 races left. But throughout this whole season, it's been nothing short of excitement. It's always been a blast watching these drivers go side by side into the corners. And seeing right there, as we see a 46 of Sean Brightsman get a little loosey-goosey, but manages to save his car. We got the difficultness of conserving your tires, and not only that, but also conserving your internal heat of trying to see... not being hot-headed, as I had a sentence forming on in my head, but that went out the window the moment I opened my mouth, Peter. But before we do continue, though, we actually do have a short word from our sponsor, so we're going to go ahead and let them do their thing, and then we'll be right back.
Brad Morrison with Mountain View Polaris. Tired of being cooped up all winter long? Tired of your old lady complaining about this and that? Let's give her something to complain about. Come on down and see us here at Mountain View Polaris. We got a great selection on side-by-sides, ATVs, and even a few snowmobiles. We also have products for the kids. We've also been known to do a deal over a good old bottle of tequila, or hell, even a simple coin flip. It's always easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission, so come see us, Mountain View Polaris.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Myrtle Beach Speedway here, and great to see a few words from sponsors of the iRacing NorthWest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products there. Both the sponsor of tonight's race, Mountain View Polaris, and of course Joe's Racing Products on board for this entire season. You see their name up there in the top left. Of course, Joe's Racing Product, very prominent in the Northwest portion of the United States in the late model scene, the super late model scene. As you see the Dial 911 machine, Adam Holm having a little bit of connection issues there, it looks like. But I believe we're going to be advancing here in just 1 minute
Yeah, we
to
did
the
already.
actual race. Oh, yeah, there we go. Checkered flag is out here on practice. So, Carlos, before we get to the starting lineup here tonight, why don't we look at the current point standings, because it is an absolute doozy up at the top of the point standings here. Seth Frazier has been on a tear recently and was able to take over the points lead over Ryan Gormley. Bart Hector Jr. currently sitting in third in points. Shane Quinn with those 3 wins to his name sitting fourth, and Nick Bellamy rounding out your top 5, and you can see the rest of the top 10. Garrett Huffines and Dylan Huffines, the two Huffine brothers, both inside the top 10 in points.
It's been a unique year for sure, with a lot of close battles. Something that was noted on by race management, and also something that I noted as well. A lot of ties this year. We had a tie for 8th last week, or pardon me, the last race. We had a couple ties. We even had a tie for the race lead, the previous race. So this is all very interesting to see. Just how awesome these races are, how close it is, and while some of these points are a little bit spaced out, there is the factor of these drivers having 2 drop races, and some of these drivers in the back, maybe a couple good races, and they can find themselves all the way back up front again, especially if some of these drivers in the front need to use a couple of bad races.
Yeah, absolutely. That is always going to be something that is going to be interesting to see how that plays out at the end of the year. Let's see if we can go through tonight's starting lineup. Starting on the pole, the Dial 911 machine of Adam Holm, the 92 Casey Tillman to his outside. Jason Templeton will start this race from the 3rd position, and to his outside, the number 7 of Dylan Huffines. Right behind Dylan is his brother Garrett Huffines in the number 42 machine, and Matt Hackathorn will be rolling off P6. BJ Titterick will roll off from P7. Joshua Beal rolling off from P number 8. Row number 5, we got the number 6 machine of Cameron Doyle and the 96 of Casey Garber. Bart Hector Jr., Nick Bellamy round out row number 6. Row number 7, Shane Quinn and Brian Payne. Row number 8, Christopher Heim, Thomas O'Hara, Alejandro Mendoza, Sean Brightsman, 17th and 18th, Travis McKinney, Eric Cheney, 19th and 20th, Josh Robinson, Ryan Gormley, Seth Frazier, Travis Barnes, and Rusty Webb round out your 25 car field. But pace car has headed down pit road, racing the hands of the Dial 911 machine of Adam Halm, and the green flag is in the air. 150 laps around the Myrtle Beach Speedway, and already you can see that inside line getting a fantastic start. Adam Halm jumping out to quite a big lead here. Casey Tillman trying to hold strong on that outside groove in the number 92 machine, but he's being challenged by the number 39 of Jason Templeton right down there on that white line, and that number 92 able to hold him off for now, so slot Tillman into the second position. Now I'm going to be interested to see, Carlos, just how much the entry into turn number 1, since it's just one long curved entry, is going to play out tonight. I'm sure we're going to see a couple drivers try to dive down to the inside groove to see if they can pick up the pass on entry, kind of a dive bomb maneuver. But if you can make it work, and surprise someone and catch them, that element of surprise, you might be able to make a little pass a little bit easier than you typically would at some of the other tracks that have a straight entry into the corner. So we'll have to see how that progresses, but pretty much the whole field now getting single file all the way back. The first side-by-side battle is Eric Cheney in the number 76 machine. He's doing battle with the number 75 Thomas O'Hara, but you're right on board with your race leader right now, the number 911 machine of Adam Halm. Of course, the first responder, and always is supporting the first responders out there with that Dial 911 machine. So pretty cool to see him out front here in the early goings. Already 4 laps down, working lap number 5 right now. There's the number 7 of Dylan Huffines, still got his brother Garrett Huffines right behind them. Lockstep in the 4th and 5th positions. But keep an eye on Matt Hackathorn. He's had a few good showings as we have a battle for the race lead brewing. Casey Tillman looking to the inside of Adam Halm. Here comes Casey Tillman right down there on the inside groove through turn number 3 and 4 here, and really digging in that number 92 machine right now. Doing good. Started on the outside front row and looking for that race lead, but starting to see that outside start to lose out to the inside groove. I know Adam Halm trying his best to hold on to that race lead, but due to the fact that this racetrack has such a unique shape, it's giving Adam Halm the opportunity on that high groove to stay with Casey Tillman, especially in turn number 3 and 4. So very, very interesting to see this type of racetrack. Is possibly a little bit of contact there between those two, but it does look like Casey Tillman's going to clear Adam Halm here coming out of turn number 4. So new race leader, Carlos.
Yeah, fantastic job by Casey Tillman getting around the Dial 911 machine of Adam Halm. Something I've noticed going on is these two drivers are battling for second place. The two drivers being Jason Templeton and Adam Halm.
Carlos.
Oh, no.
Carlos, we have a lot of contact in the back of the pack. Sorry to cut you off, but it all happened around the number 46 of Sean Bryceman. I'm going to go back and see if I can see exactly what happened. I think it was the 74 of Brian Payne.
Oh, it was a checkup.
The 74 of Brian Payne got really loose coming out of going into turn number 1. It goes back to that entry thing I was talking about, and the number 74 got loose, and then he checked up down there on the inside groove, and you can see it just kind of an accordion effect, but luckily everyone is able to keep it going straight, and we're still green here, working now lap number 11 of the 150 schedule.
Going back to what I was saying, the Dial 911 machine of Adam Halm had been, who is actually now 3rd at the moment, had been running the high line pretty much that whole time he was in the lead, and it's kind of still running it now, a little bit unique. Maybe he is trying to save some tires. But quick note, this is actually the second week in a row that Adam Halm has started, well, not second week in a row, second race in a row that he has started on the first spot for the main event, so that's fantastic for him. I don't know, it depends on how you want to look at it. May not be fantastic for him, but for him as a... I had something in my head. I was trying to say, as a driver, he may not like that because he's not having his playoffs points or passing points should he pass other vehicles, but as a sponsor, he is happy that people are looking at his car while he was up towards the front for the majority of the time. Of course, now he appears to be dropping back, and that could be a result of him trying to save some tires, or it could be the result of him, his car not being up to speed, Peter. I don't know what you're taking a look at there.
Yeah, he's definitely using a unique groove out there on the racetrack, but now the number 84 machine of Matt Hackathorn has got around him. Good start for Matt Hackathorn, going from 6th on the grid now up into the 3rd position. We've seen that out of Hackathorn this year. He's definitely shown some pace in the super late models, now trying to track down the number 39 of Jason Templeton. But it's going to be interesting to see which ones of these drivers will be back for tomorrow's night. Is a big sneeze there,
Sorry.
Carlos, bless you.
But, we got a battle for the lead.
Yeah, a little bit of a battle for the race lead starting to brew up. Jason Templeton and Casey Tillman up there in the number 92 machine. Looks like Templeton had to back out of it there just a little bit. Well, one thing that I've noticed, Carlos, about this racetrack is the fact that, we got a car around coming out of turn number 4. It's the number 88 machine, turn number 2, excuse me.
Rusty
the 88
Webb.
of Rusty Webb. Yeah, he's in the inside wall.
No caution.
I gotta say, I also saw someone else hit those little curbs down there. Seth Frazier now has a lot of front end damage as Rusty Webb finally gets that number 80
Caution
machine.
is out now.
And caution has come out here, possibly 4. Oh yeah, he hit those curbs down there. So it looks like those curbs starting to play havoc. I know we highlighted that in the pre-race. It's kind of a unique feature about this racetrack. But that man right there in the 32 had also hit them. Not quite sure if his damage might have come from somewhere else. But Frazier, just a little bit clipped him right there on exit. So I don't know. Very interesting to see that those curbs have now produced the first caution flag here of the night. The number 88 of Rusty Webb going around. He's currently being scored 1 lap down in that Pro Mechanical Services super late model. There he is, right behind the number 55 Alejandro Mendoza in the Ice Harbor Brewery machine. But we have now pretty much to lap number 20, and of course I've alluded to it earlier, but this is the first of the 2 Mountain View Classic Twin 150s. The second one tomorrow night at Lucas Oil Raceway, formerly known as IRP, ORP, whatever name you want to go by, but currently Lucas Oil Raceway. So very much looking forward to that event tomorrow night. Of course, that's a very unique racetrack as well, variably banked, fairly difficult to pass at, very tight racetrack. Should put on an absolute show tomorrow night. And of course, the highest place finisher out of the 2 Twin 150s will receive a $100 certificate, or $100, I should say, not necessarily a certificate, but $100 from Mountain View Polaris in Moses Lake, Washington. So, got to give a shout out to them and thank them for their contribution. But we do have a couple drivers on pit road. There you see Thomas O'Hara in the 75 machine, and also Seth Frazier. Remember, I'd highlighted that Seth Frazier had quite a bit of front end damage, and you can see that crew has gone to work, pulled out the left front fender. The right front fender is still crinkled in, but he and Thomas O'Hara now coming out of pit lane. He might also be getting fuel, Carlos, because I did a few practice laps prior to coming into this session here around this racetrack, and it kind of appeared that there might be a fuel issue tonight. They might not be able to make it 150 laps on fuel, so that will be something we'll have to keep an eye on. And I know we have seen Seth Frazier with some kind of off-sequence strategies so far this year, and sometimes it has really worked out for him.
That's something that's interesting for sure, but do want to quickly go ahead and give a shout out to everybody that's out there watching and commentating. Thank you so much for being out here tonight. I'm seeing Catherine Rose. I'm also seeing Jay Kraber.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Hi, Jay. Hi, Paul. Paul's in the booth. Pardon me. Paul's in the chat out there tonight. Kathy does have an interesting question. She said that Brad is sponsoring the race, but not in it. Unfortunately, Brad has something. The missus has something that he wants him to do, so he's not going to be in tonight, but he will be there hopefully tomorrow night. As Peter, we're about to go green.
Pace car is off now. Nope, pace car lights are on again. Looks like possibly the caution flag has been extended an extra lap, so they are doubled up 2 by 2, but the pace car lights are still on that Ford Mustang pace car, so kind of the 2x2 kind of caught us off guard, but now the pace car lights are off. Hopefully they stay off for good and we can get back to green flag action here
I have
in
something
just
interesting to
under
mention.
one lap.
The caution came out. I think this may have been an Edmund thrown caution because Rusty Webb did get his lap back, and he's currently back in the lead lap.
I think you're right. I think it was an M and thrown caution. So very interesting to see that. In fact, Travis Barnes was given an EOL penalty. So I'm kind of curious to know if there's something that we missed.
He does have race damage.
I'm going to have to go back and take a look at it. So, Carlos, take away this caution, this green flag.
Racers are back on track, hitting the gas pedal, hopefully not too hard, as Casey Tillman is clearing the number 39 of Jason Templeton into turn 1, that oddly shaped corner, proving to be no difficulty for Casey Tillman as he now holds on roughly about a 0.2 of a second lead over. However, Matt Hackathorn is right behind the back of the number 39 machine as a couple of drivers scrape the outside wall, icing number 3. Trying to see what some of these drivers are doing, and we're going to be noticing a bunch of the drivers scraping the wall, whether it's off of 2 or off of 3. Just the unique design of this racetrack with the way these vehicles handle will result in a bunch of these drivers going a little bit wider than usual and giving a little love tap as number 39 of Jason Templeton appears to be... Caution is out!
Caution is out. Big contact in the back of the pack, including Seth Frazier, Travis Barnes, but that man right there, Christopher Heim, is around. And we'll go back to the Travis Barnes story here in just a minute. But let's see what happened here. Looks like Heim just got loose up there on the high side. Josh Robinson in the 47, nowhere to go, unfortunately, getting into that number 51 machine. But, looks like there might have been contact there with the number 74 machine. That 74 driven by Brian Payne. That might have led to that accident. But I do want to go back and revisit the Travis Barnes situation here in just a second. Yeah, definitely contact between those two. And that's what caused that number 51 to get loose. And there you see the 47, Josh Robinson, getting it once and getting it twice right there. And look at Travis Barnes trying to get out of the way. And Seth Frazier, your points leader in there in the number 32 machine, getting a piece of it. So could not be a good night for your points leader currently. And that bright neon blue and purple black machine. Neon, there is no such thing as neon black, but that blue and that purple stick out more than the black on that race car. There you have Hackathorn, kind of a similar paint scheme on that number 84 machine of Matt Hackathorn. Good night for Hackathorn so far in the third position. Seth Frazier currently on pit road. But let's see if we can highlight Travis Barnes here for just a brief second. There was contact under that last caution flag, Carlos. While they were pacing around under caution, Travis Barnes made contact with one of the other drivers. In fact, I believe that other driver was the number 44 of Ryan Gormley. So two of your current points leaders having a little bit of trouble here in the early going of this race, and we haven't even gotten to the quarter distance yet.
That's true. Taking a look at what these drivers are going on so far, as already 31 laps in, we've had, I would say, couple. This was already the big-ish one. A couple of drivers getting involved, including the 8 of Travis Barnes, who already had some previous damage. 37 of Seth Frazier, also not having a good time right now. We'll see how this affects all the points as we're about to get back to racing there, Peter.
Yeah, it does look like it. I don't think Ryan Gormley got any damage from the Travis Barnes incident, so that is good for him. But yeah, that Ford Mustang pace car now on pit lane here when we'll go back to green in the first of the two Mountain View Classic Twin 150s. Green flag back in the air. There you see the flag man waving that thing frantically as they head off into turn number 1. The field races by. A couple of stragglers back there trying to get some of that damage fixed, but really tied up at the front between the number 92 Casey Tillman and the number 39 of Jason Templeton. And here comes Matt Hackathorn. Here he comes, Speed Racer, down there on the inside of the racetrack trying to get the second position from Templeton. He's going to
caution
back under the caution flag here. Couple cars around on the front stretch. Sean Brightsman in the 46, one of those, as well as Joshua Beal in the 112 machine. A little bit of left front damage on that 112 machine. We'll see what happened on the 3-wide TV replay. And yeah, just coming together, coming out of the corner between those two race cars. Doesn't look like too much damage on either of those cars, so that's good news. They'll be able to continue on in this event. Let's see if we can see, and I don't know. It looks like just kind of a racing accident. Ooh, Ryan Gormley there in the 44 machine getting a piece of it as well. We just highlighted his issues under caution 2 cautions ago, and now he has a lot more front end damage on that number 44 super late model. Kind of hard to say, a super late model.
Oh, okay.
Riding on board with the 44 machine. Yeah, absolutely nowhere to go for Ryan Gormley, and based on what I'm hearing, kind of the admin saying, you know, hey, we need to calm this down a little bit. We've had 3 cautions now in 36 laps, but I'll tell you what, Carlos, based on what I saw in practice, this was a very difficult racetrack to drive. I saw quite a few drivers struggling with this racetrack, and kind of now we've seen a couple of cautions. I think this racetrack lends itself to some very good racing, but at the same time, sometimes you can get a little bit overzealous on a racetrack like this.
Yes, but well, let's go ahead and put this race conversation just a little bit to the side, because I want to personally say congratulations to Peter Short, because Peter, I don't know, I'm saying this right now because I don't know when we're else going to have a chance to do this if the racing keeps on getting intense, but you just wrapped up, like freshly got it out of the race car for the Bathurst 12 hours, finishing, I believe you said 9th overall. Just congratulations to you. That's a difficult racetrack to do, and to finish it definitely in the top 10 is such an achievement.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun today. You know, we did 12 hours, started around 7:40 a.m. Central Time this morning and wrapped it up not too long ago. Jumped out of my Ferrari, and it was a very smooth race. I think we had just a few incident points across 12 hours, and our car was very clean. I think we only had about 16 seconds of optional damage across 12 hours, and all of that was fixed on pit road while the car was just being normally serviced. So all in all, a good run. I wish we could have finished a little bit higher. We were up to the 5th position there with about an hour and a half to go, but kind of the fuel mileage game didn't go our way, and we had to make a long stop while a lot of the other drivers were able to make a short final pit stop, but nonetheless, it was a lot of fun. I got to give a shout out to my teammates Eric Mickey and Kurt Crum for helping get me to the end, and it was really good. Looking forward to Sebring in a couple weeks' time, but nonetheless, pace car lights are off, and we're about to go back to green flag racing. Hopefully this race doesn't take 12 hours, but we're already through 38 of the scheduled 150 here tonight. But remember, tomorrow night, Lucas Oil Raceway, another one of the Mountain View Classic Twin 150s. And can't forget about that $100 to the highest place, or highest average finisher across the 2 races. But pace car on pit road, race in the hands of the number 92 of Casey Tillman. And there he goes on the loud pedal, and we're back to green flag action. Let's see if we can get a green flag run in here, Carlos, because last few times they've been a little bit short. But let's keep an eye on that man right there, the 84 of Matt Hackthorne. He made a charge to try and get that 2nd position from Jason Templeton, unable to have a restart like he did last time, this time round. But that number 84 of Matt Hackthorne riding in the 3rd position got Garrett Huffines right behind him. Dylan slid back to the 6th position as Cameron Doyle, who currently has the fastest lap in this race, has moved his way up into the top 5 in the 5th position, riding on board right there with Templeton in the 39 machine coming out of turn number 4. You can just see how unique the racetrack is.
Yes. Now, caution is out, of course. Once I open my mouth. Brightsman again. That is not a good thing right now for the 46 of Sean Bryson. Let's go back and take a look and see just what happened. Little side drafting in the short track doesn't work out for the car on the outside as he goes head over heels. That's not the right term. Let's go back and take a look at the replay before I embarrass myself any further. A little bit too much contact actually in the corner. That's when the car is usually the lightest in the rear end. Goes around. A couple drivers hit the outside wall to avoid it, but I don't really see any difficult damage or any heavy damage to these drivers. Let's take a look at it from the blimp camera as Peter What do you think about? Oh, that's a little bit of neck code.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of net code in that one, but if we can go back and watch it one more time from the same angle, I can kind of talk you through what I see. The number 46 up there, he's kind of staying right on that second dash line up there. Looks like the number 74 might have washed up just a little bit down there from the inside groove, and I noticed that when I did practice, it's very, very tight down there, and this is a variably radiused racetrack. I know we talk about variable banking quite a bit on short tracks, but this is variable radius. You can see it right there. It is not constant. Even across a small little portion of the racetrack, the line kind of the white line kind of weaves on the racetrack, and it makes it very difficult for a driver to hit their lines. And there's not a whole lot of visibility in these super late models, so a lot of these drivers are kind of having to focus ahead further than they normally would to make sure that they're getting the radius right. And if you don't get it right, it can lead to issues like what we just saw right there with that little bit of contact. In fact, I'm getting word that Brian Payne has been shown the black flag here due to having a second accident called against him, I do believe. So he is headed on pit road right now, and that is not the way Brian Payne wanted to end the first of the two Mountain View Classic Twin 150s here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. But hopefully we'll get to see him back tomorrow night at Lucas Oil Raceway for another 150 laps in this twin event. Of course, the prize money brought to you by Mountain View Polaris out of Moses Lake, Washington. But the pace car is off, and we're going to get set to go back to green flag once again, as we have 4 cautions already in the books here, as we're just now working lap number 46. But the green flag in the air, almost to the 1/3 distance. And Casey Tillman's going to scoot away up in the front of the field. I think he's starting to like these caution flags in that number 92 machine, because I'll tell you what, no one has been able to get around him since he got around the dial 911 of Adam Hall. Casey Tillman leads once again here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Oh, look at how those cars wiggle coming out of turn number 4. And I think part of that's a credit to the fact that that front stretch is not straight by any means. It's definitely a D-shaped oval, and these cars, you mentioned it just a minute ago, Carlos, that on exit, the rear end of these cars is so light. You're trying to get the power down, the rear wheels are sliding, and sometimes it can just jump out a little bit, kick out sideways, and that's what you were seeing there. Here's a good side-by-side battle a little bit further back. That's Casey Garber in the number 96 machine, and to his inside, the number 48 of Travis McKinney. Looks like McKinney will take that spot, at least for now, here as a flash by the flag man.
Side by side for the race lead as 92 Casey Tillman must have made a mistake, because now Jason Templeton was looking into his inside, and this is also catching up the rest of the pack, as Matt Hackathorn is pretty much one mistake away from being there and making it almost a 3-wide situation, as these two cats going side by side. It's a very, very close 51 laps into this race, about 100, maybe 99 laps left remaining, seeing what's going on. And now the 84 has some other difficult other things to deal with, as the 42 of Garrett Huffines is looking to his inside. Of course, this is also helping Cameron Doyle, who's currently 5th, get a good view as to what's going on and seeing if any of these drivers make a mistake. How is he going to attack? As I don't know. I think that inside line, while it may be fast, is not the preferred method of getting around passing people. This could be another one of those cases of having to pass on the outside, as never mind what I just said, as Jason Templeton has gone onto the race lead, passing the 92 of Casey Tillman. And Peter, how is this track how are you noticing this track change as the race is going on?
Well, you're definitely starting to see these race cars lose a little bit of tire grip. Of course, they're not able to change tires here in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. That's a league rule. There are exceptions at certain tracks, but not here tonight. And when you have a little bit older tires, the cars start to get a little bit slick, and I'm really seeing that out of quite a few cars. Look at that, the number 84 there, Hackathorn has a wiggle. And how that number 39 was able to take the lead is he really dived it into turn number 1 late. And he dove it into turn number 1 a little bit lower on the racetrack than the number 92 of Casey Tillman. Caught him sleeping a little bit, caught it by surprise. I mentioned that earlier, that you're going to be able to make moves here tonight because of that. And now that number 39 at Templeton has checked out, although he's really high up on the racetrack. We got a side-by-side battle now for the 3rd position. Here we go. Garrett Huffines to the inside, Matt Hackathorn to the outside. We've seen these two already do battle once. And, ooh, look at Tillman trying to find some speed, and all of a sudden, Templeton's found a rhythm. And this is going to be a rhythm racetrack because of just the fact that it is a V-shaped oval.
Sorry about that, Peter.
Bellamy there, Carlos, and the 7 there of Huffines?
Yep, there was a little bit of checkup, and the 20 ran right up to the back of the 7. No harm, no foul. Well, maybe not for the 20. It's the 7 is probably in a position to lose a position on the racetrack. As you were mentioning, this being a rhythm racetrack, if you get off of that rhythm, you can find yourself with somebody's front bumper up against your back bumper, and a couple seconds later with you up against the outside wall. So you got to be careful. You got to make sure where the other cars are out. Driver awareness will be key tonight. You got to see if you're going to make a mistake, how you can make a mistake. And some of these mistakes that can be made will result in loss of positions, or will result in a early trip to the garage area. Is right there, the 84, Matt Hackathorn, giving a little bit too much gas. Actually, in the corner, had to get off of the gas. That allowed the 42 to get up right behind him. Almost made some contact. And Peter, I don't know about you, but a contact at that speed at that section of the racetrack, that could have been incredibly costly.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to highlight currently some of your current points leaders. Of course, your current points leader is Seth Frazier, currently in the 17th position, so buried quite deep in this field. Ryan Gormley in 14th. And what about Bart Hector Jr., currently in the 11th position? But those are really your top few people in points so far, none of them inside the top 10. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as to how tonight progresses. But look at this battle. I'll tell you what, the number 92 Casey Tillman just chopped off the nose of the 84 of Hackathorn. Hackathorn's trying to use that high line to his advantage, trying to get around that number 92 up there using the high side. We haven't seen anyone really make a pass there, but I'll tell you what, if you can stay right where Hackathorn is, it's really tight. They're coming out of turn number 2.
Oh, caution
Flag is out. Not quite sure why caution. Ooh,
we
have
Huffines.
The 7 of Dylan Huffines around there on the backstretch. Looks like no damage to that number 7 Toyota Super Late model. Ooh, Nick Bellamy there in the 20 machine. And right around that number 7 went, luckily not impaling those tires there at the end of the pit wall. But unfortunately for Huffines, that's going to go way back. And we've seen the 20 and the 7 already have a little bit of collision here tonight. And yeah, look like, man, that's kind of a hard one to call. Looked like maybe the 7 was trying to hold his line there up off the corner. I think he will think the 20 didn't give him enough room, but that's one of those kind of racing deals that happen on a racetrack when you come out of the corner on a short track. The track narrows up, and that sort of thing does happen. And unfortunately for Dylan Huffines, he will now be basically tail end of the field. Let's go on board with the number 20 of Bellamy. You can see that inside groove just kind of wiggle down there, and he just kind of washed up into the number 7 machine from the looks of that replay. So I'm sure we're going to see the number 20 tap. We do have a tap out rule here in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. If you tap twice in an event, then you are disqualified. We've already seen that happen once tonight, unfortunately, to Brian Payne. But if you don't tap, Carlos, it is a much bigger penalty. So if you tap once, you get end of longest line penalty, and if you tap twice, it is disqualification. And like I said, if you don't tap for something that is your fault, it is a bigger penalty than if you were to just do it. So drivers are heavily encouraged to do it, and definitely, self-policing essentially, so that a lot of these drivers out there realize, hey, I shouldn't do dumb mistakes. I shouldn't wreck someone, and I'm sure they don't want to. These are racers. I don't think any racer really goes out there on the racetrack with any type of intent to go wreck someone. They're out there to have fun and enjoy it, especially when you're racing something like the iRacing simulator. As we're getting close to the halfway distance, 1 to go here under this caution flag as pace car lights are off. So don't think there was any intent now in that collision. Interesting thing, though, Carlos, is I don't see anyone tapping for that. So I said this whole thing about it, and I don't think anyone tapped unless it was possibly Dylan Huffines, but I didn't see any type of EOL penalty for anyone. So that will be an interesting post-race discussion as we have one car on pit road. That's Joshua Beal coming off pit lane right now. He's going to go one lap down as we're back to green flag action. And look at this. Here comes Travis Barnes and Bart Hector Jr. doing side-by-side action coming out of turn number 2. This is really the first side-by-side action out on the racetrack. And look at the number 44 of Gormley starting to make some noise back there as well. Remember, Hector Jr. and Gormley are up there in the points, so they need to start making some moves forward here in this event to try and supplant themselves as tonight's point leader after this one. Actually, it's after this weekend. Prior to the race, we kind of had a discussion, you and I, Carlos, and really, it's your highest finish from either of the two Mountain View Classic Twin 150s that goes on the tally after this event. So if you have a good night tonight, then you don't really have to have as good of a night tomorrow night, and vice versa. So I'm sure a lot of these drivers out there right now, drivers like Seth Frazier, might have a little bit of damage thinking, man, I need to have a good night tomorrow night because this night is not going as planned. But Seth Frazier currently riding in the 14th position.
Pardon me, that 76 car a little bit too close to that 46 is exiting the corner. But yeah, exactly what you're saying. And I think this was done to kind of not put the drivers in a bad position, because normally the iRacing NorthWest Tour brought races on a Sunday night. And of course, clearly it is a Saturday night. Of course, to me, it feels like a Sunday. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe this has to do something with it. But with it being a Saturday night, it's different to the drivers. I'm sure the management wanted to make it so that, hey, if you can make it, perfect. If you can't, then you gotta be sure you perform excellent on Sunday, because only one of these finishes is going to go to your actual points tally. Of course, both races are going to be pointed up, and whoever has the highest points for both of these races will be getting $100 courtesy of Mountain View Polaris for the Mountain View Classic, the doubleheader twin 150s here tonight. Second place is going to be getting $50. Third place will be getting $25, and a random racer that is not in the top 3 will be getting $25. So thank you so much to Mountain View Polaris for sponsoring such a fantastic event tonight. And this is something that I look forward to for next year, to see what other challenges can be made, and how much higher the stakes can be raised.
Yeah, maybe next year we can take it off-road like those Polaris ATVs and do maybe a dirt super late model race. Wouldn't that be interesting? But I do gotta say, right now, looking at the field, Jason Templeton once again has found his rhythm, has scooted away to a 1-second lead over the number 84 of Matt Hackathorn. So really, really good run. But we got a good battle now starting to brew for the 3rd position. Casey Tillman is holding off the number 6 of Cameron Doyle, who's worked his way now up into the 4th position. Got around the 42 of Garrett Huffines not too long ago. And Nick Bellamy in the 20 machine. Look at Bellamy sniffing down there on the inside groove. Dives to the inside of that number 42 machine. Uses the shorter route there on entry. Unable to get around him, though. That outside line holding tough for Huffines right now. But Bellamy really trying to get around number 42 machine. Here comes Doyle in the number 6 machine, though, looking just ahead of that 42. And Doyle saw what Huffines did, or excuse me, what Bellamy did to Huffines the lap before, but I think he was a little bit closer to the rear end of that number 92 machine and looked like he had a shot, and all of a sudden he disappears. Having a little bit of connection issues there. He's going to have to slot back in behind Casey Tillman. But Carlos, I'm starting to see that inside groove. It might be a little bit faster, but it's very difficult to make a pass down there. We saw the 84 of Hackathorn make a move around the outside of Casey Tillman. In fact, he was side by side with Tillman when the caution flag flew. iRacing did give that position to Matt Hackathorn, so that's what's put him in second. We have a car off pace. Christopher Heim diving onto pit road. Here we got some action a little bit further back. So action all around this racetrack. It's a unique racetrack in the fact that it's a non-standard length. It's 0.54 miles, just over a half mile. Is this beautiful little racetrack in South Carolina. Cameron Doyle still trying to get around the 92 of Tillman as he's starting to see both Jason Templeton, Matt Hackathorn disappear into the distance as we now have a little train of cars from the 3rd position all the way back now to around the 9th position, which is BJ Titterick. I haven't talked about him here tonight. And the number 72 machine got Rustic Moon on the hood. Of course, Rustic Moon, a sponsor of the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. Got to give a shout out to them. And good recovery for Travis Barnes. Remember, he had an end of longest line penalty early in the race. He's recovered to the 8th position in the number 8 machine. Bart Hector now inside the top 10. Brian Gormley 12th. Travis McKinney 13th. Seth Frazier 15th, your current points leader here in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. There he is doing battle with Joshua Beal right behind him in the 112 machine. Beal actually finds himself 1 lap down at this present moment in time as after a lengthy pit stop.
Now, Peter, there's something that I did want to bring up, and it's that these points leaders are not having a good night overall with, I don't know, 10th will be okay, but I'm sure Bart Hector... Oh, caution is out, as every time I want to try to get something said, caution comes out, as it's 112, Joshua Beal up in smokes. Let's take a look and see just what happened.
Yeah, coming out of turn number 2, I think he got loose and tried to counter steer that car and just got up into the outside wall and went for a spin around. You see that where he got loose, got up into the outside wall. And I gotta say, I don't think I've ever seen a car kind of get whipped around like it did. That is strange. It just kind of looked like it got glued inside the wall and it just spun it right around. So that is the reason here for the caution. But we have eclipsed the halfway mark here in the first of the 2 Mountain View Classic Twin 150s. Of course, the second one tomorrow night at Lucas Oil Raceway. Make sure to tune into that here on 3White TV on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to us, and you can turn on the notification bell so you don't miss it tomorrow night. In fact, you will miss none of the 3White TV broadcasts that we do if you do that. And got to give a shout out to Will Worsler from Will Worsler Racing saying Nicky Worsler just went to bed and he is up watching us. So got to give a shout out to you. And also Fernando Matos.
Yes. Hello, Fernando. Hello, Will. Well, I'm sure you're going to be watching this tomorrow. Peter, it's halfway through the race. How about we go ahead and give a quick interview to... we're not going to talk to the leader right now. I'm kind of interested in talking to Matt Hackathorn, who's currently in second, doing his best to chase down the race lead. Matt, are you there? Do you have a copy?
I am.
Well, currently in second, I know you definitely want to get up to that first place spot, but how's your car doing, and do you think you have what it takes?
I'm just trying to save a little bit more than Templeton is. We still have 60 to go. Kind of the same thing as Iowa, just trying to maintain tires, except for there's no pit stop for me to mess up here. So I'm just hoping to be able to hang on. I was just trying to maintain a gap about a second behind them and just kind of pace him, make him show him a couple times I might be a little bit faster. But noticing he's been getting pretty close to that outside wall and his tail's getting a little bit happy, so hopefully it's working.
That's true. So I do think one of the key factors as we got 1 to green for you to be able to beat Jason will be on the restarts of this single file. Restarts now you guys are doing. What's your approach?
Fast to not overshoot the first corner. The tires are handling a little bit funky right now, so I'm not exactly sure what they're going to act like when they go into the corner.
All right, thank you so much, Matt.
All right, well, we're about to go back to green here. Got to give an update on the 112 machine. Joshua Beal has been disqualified and been shown the black flag here tonight, so he has left the racing surface. I'm sure that's not how he wanted tonight to end, but here we go, looking back from the backside of the number 39 machine of Jason Templeton, looking at Matt Hackathorn, who we just talked to here on the 3 White TV broadcast, right behind him. And then we got Casey Tillman, and it was a gaggle of cars, Carlos, for the 3rd place. I was just about to mention that the number 6, the 42, the 20, and the 4 were pretty much all side by side, 2 by 2, all the way back. It was a fantastic race for that spot, and look, it's starting to brew up once again.
Yeah, these drivers are, they know when's the best time to get spots, and that would be on restarts. I believe the 6 is having some slight connection issues. Hopefully that's gonna go away pretty soon. We saw Matt Hackathorn try to sneak his bump in there just a little bit. Unfortunately now the field is spreading out just a little bit, and it's getting harder to get those positions. But these drivers, they know the best time to pass will be on the restarts, and the longer it gets, the harder it is to pass. Now, going back to what I was going to say before the caution did come out, is that these drivers, especially up in the front in points, are not having a good night. And something that could be a factor too is these drivers that are up in points, they're fast drivers, of course, so they have to start all the way near the back because of the inverted field for the initial for the race itself. So with that being said, it's hard to pass in this racetrack. Not that many drivers have passed, not even to double digits, as I can see at the moment. Only 2 drivers have.
Carlos, sorry to interrupt, but there was contact there in turn number 4 between Shane Quinn and Nick Bellamy, but Shane Quinn backed out of it, allowed Bellamy the opportunity to check up, as another little bit of contact there between Travis Barnes and Shane Quinn. So Shane Quinn's starting to get roughed up a little bit here around the racetrack, but looks like Shane Quinn just got to the back bumper of that number 20 machine, but all is nice and neat here as we continue to go green, as we almost are at lap number 100. Carlos.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I was trying to say, is that it's just very hard to pass. It's almost like Martinsville in a way, as I believe that is. Martin Hector Jr. going wide, another 4 goes around. That's Shane Quinn.
So we were just highlighting Shane Quinn there a lap before, and unfortunately he's gone around. And let's see exactly what happened here.
Net code.
I'd like to see that from possibly another angle. To see if it was indeed netcode. You see the number 8 machine of Travis Barnes on the inside, the 4 of Shane Quinn on the outside. Shane Quinn, 3-time winner, and yes, definitely netcode there that spun that number 4 machine around. Looked like there was definitely a little bit of breathing room between those 2 cars. Let's see this on board with BJ Tidrick in the Rustic Moon machine, and oh, yep, you saw that netcode, and that number 4 machine went around. There was no contact. That is what we call netcode, or a ghost collision. A little bit of the iRacing code, trying to do some interpolation and extrapolation of internet data, and sometimes it doesn't quite do it right, and it leads to that type of accident. So unfortunately, the number 4 machine did go around and will find himself at the back of the field, which is a big shame for Shane. It's a shame for Shane, as he's now the 22nd scored car out there on the racetrack, already getting 3 wins so far this year. He was on an absolute tear a few weeks back, and that number 4 machine now is going to have a fantastic second half of this race. And getting reports that Travis Barnes has been given the EOL penalty here for that collision. Now, going to be interesting to see here, Carlos. Remember, Travis Barnes had that collision under pacing. I don't know if that necessarily counts as a tap
I don't believe
or
it
not.
does. I don't believe it does.
Okay, so now the number 8 machine stays out there on the racetrack, but he will be starting end of longest line. Unfortunate that was just net code between those 2 cars. There's the number 47 machine, Josh Robinson. I actually talked with him prior to the race just a little bit, and he said that he hadn't done any practicing this week, and getting the groove around this difficult, unique racetrack, he was struggling a little bit. So he's currently down there in the number 7, the 17th position in that number 47 machine, and unfortunately quite a bit of front end damage done of his own doing. And that number 47, we'll see if he can work his way through the field here in the closing laps. But pace car lights are off. We're going to go green with 46 laps to go here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Pace car headed down pit road. And that battle for third position has absolutely brewing. It just doesn't have the time to come to fruition, but the green flag is in the air once again, and Matt Hackathorn caught sleeping a little bit, caught really sleeping, as he actually might have made a little bit of contact with the outside wall as he went past the flag stand. And now Matt Hackathorn has probably about 4 car lengths between the race leader, the 39 of Templeton, and himself. So Hackathorn's going to have to close in, close that distance, and will give you time at the line, 0.6 of a second already. Jason Templeton, once he got out front, man, he has not looked back, and that full throttle energy drink machine has been completely on a tear. But Hackathorn said he's saving some of his stuff, so we'll have to see whether or not he's going to use up some of that stuff to close in on the back bumper of the number 39 machine. As here comes Cameron Doyle. Doyle running that higher line. He saw that earlier work for Hackathorn getting around Casey Tillman, but Doyle unable to make it work on that number 92 machine yet, as here comes Garrett Huffines using that higher groove, unable to do anything with it. So pretty cool to see here, Carlos, that there's a lot of grooves at this racetrack that these drivers are using to try and get around other drivers.
It's definitely unique, and there are a lot of grooves, but honestly, with what I'm seeing, there's only about 2 main grooves, as the 6 gets a little loose there. 2 main grooves with only just a slight variance of what the other drivers are running. Oh no, contact with the 42s. The 42 goes around and the caution comes out once again while I am talking.
And we just need to throw some duct tape on the mouth of Carlos Acosta, because every time he is talking, there's always a caution. Let's see exactly what happened here. Ooh, a little bit of a nudge there from the number 20 of Nick Bellamy.
This would be his second one,
starting to look, I don't see Nick Bellamy on the list for any strikes prior to this, at least none of which were claimed. You see Bart Hector in the number 82 machine possibly getting a piece of that one. Doesn't look like too much damage on the front end of Bart Hector's vehicle. So let's see, yeah, you can see that initial contact, and unfortunately for Garrett Huffines, just right around. So both of the Huffines brothers, both Garrett and Dylan, having issues here tonight. The number 7 happened off of turn number 2, and as did that one right there, but neither of the Huffines brothers seem to have a significant amount of damage, so hopefully they'll be able to bounce back from this one. But the laps are winding down now at only 40 laps to go here at Myrtle Beach Speedway, and Nick Bellamy is being shown the EOL, so I'm supposing he tapped for that one. But you have a question, Carlos?
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and see if we can get somebody to talk to before we go back racing. As Peter, I'll let you go ahead and figure out who that is. With these cautions coming out, I do think we're at the point where drivers are about to stop wrecking, and we're going to go in the. I think it's safe to say we're about to finish this race under green. Peter, who do you have?
I have caught up with your race leader, driver of the number 39 machine. That is Jason Templeton. Templeton, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, man, you have been in an absolute air out there tonight, using that clean air on the nose of that number 39 machine. Is this a racetrack that fits your driving style? Did you get a lot of practice in? It's a very unique racetrack, and it looks like a rhythm racetrack. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's very similar to Rockingham, where you got to take care of the tires on exit. If you're getting on the throttle too soon and getting sideways, that right rear is going to wear out on you. I'm hoping I didn't use up too much tires trying to stay out front, but hopefully I can hang on through the end.
How important was it for you to get to that race lead? We saw you kind of make a charge from the 3rd starting position all the way up to 2nd, and then eventually taking the race lead from Casey Tillman. Was it important for you to get that race lead? Did you kind of get the feeling that there was going to be a lot of cautions? Tell us a little bit about that.
Not so much the cautions. I knew if I could be aggressive and get out front that I could definitely get a benefit on the restarts, but I just wanted to get out and try to pull away from the crowd a little bit and get away from the field.
Last question before you go. It looks pretty difficult to pass out there. Is that something that you have in the back of your head?
Yeah, I think if I could just kind of hug the bottom and not drive too hard in the center, I should be okay.
All right. Well, best of luck, Jason. We'll let you get back to it as the car's about to pull off.
All right, thank you.
All right, pace
All
car's
right. Well,
pulling
that is
off.
your.
Oh, pardon me. I thought you were taking care of some business.
Go ahead, Carlos.
All right, 39's going to go ahead and get a monster takeoff as the 84 Matt Hackenthorpe once again. Maybe not caught falling asleep behind the race wheel, but definitely wasn't up to par against Jason Templeton. As going into turns 1 and 2, exiting the corner, something I have noticed with Jason is that he lets the drivers behind him drive it in deep, but Jason gets a fantastic run off the corners. And while Matt is up against the wall, that's going to be a horrendous move on his end, as he is now side by side with Casey Tillman. Casey Tillman trying to get right by the 84, as now Casey Tillman is going side by side. And Peter, these drivers are starting to show their weaknesses, whether it's their tires or it's their mental exhaustion. Whatever's going on, something's going on with the 92. I think the 92's tires are pretty much done.
Yeah, well, Tillman was stuck down there on the inside groove, and going back to what Fulton had just said that we talked to under caution, you don't want to get the power down too early because it will light up the rear tires, and we saw that out of Casey Tillman twice, as Templeton scraped the outside wall, as well as Tillman, I believe, scraped the outside wall. So a couple of cars having issues. Alejandro Mendoza now in the 55 machine, he's well off the pace, not 100% sure why. In that Ice Harbor Brewery machine, but he's down there on the inside groove and letting your leaders by, but a lot of sparks flying here on the front stretch.
Pitcherick was all the way up against the wall there, that last lap across the start-finish line. So he does have some significant damage, but that being said, Tidrick has been moving up quite recently. He's been having a good time with it. As actually, pardon me, he's only moved up one spot as a couple of these drivers going inside.
Carlos?
What's up?
I gotta say, Travis McKinney is not a happy camper right now in the number 48 machine. He is stuck behind Alejandro Mendoza, and the whole field is using Mendoza as a pick to get by Travis McKinney. He's gone from the 9th position all the way back now, and we have 3 wide here on the front stretch, as he was finally able to get around that number 55 machine, but McKinney went from 9th all the way back to 13th, so that is going to be a tough pill to swallow.
It is. As a racer, it is the worst. One of the worst things you can experience, because you don't want to wreck the guy in front of you, no matter how slow he is, just because you can get a strike, and you can't move up because then you can get yourself wrecked. It's just you're in a lose-lose situation. Thankfully now the 48 has got him by the lap vehicle. I believe it was the 55 Alejandro Mendoza, but a little too late, as the damage is done with 28 laps to go. Unless something happens to these race leaders, Peter, it's going to be pretty much nearly impossible to get by and get to the position you were, unless you get a couple cautions and some good luck going your way.
Well, talking about your race leaders, we saw Cameron Doyle get around Casey Tillman when Tillman had that little slip up down there on the inside groove. But we got to start talking about Cameron Doyle, because he's closing right in on the back bumper of Matt Hackathorn. And that number 6 of Doyle is showing some pace. He's kind of showing his nose to the inside of that 84 machine. Whoa, Hackathorn gets really sideways there coming out of turn number 4. These tires are now 125 laps old. And you can see Hackathorn just starting to lose that rear end coming off the corner. And Cameron Doyle pressing the L2 button to intimidate. And I think Doyle's going to get him here.
Oh, no!
Contact the number 6 of the F84.
Caution will come out.
Caution in the air, the 6 going around, BJ Tidrick in the outside wall, tough to see, and cars still piling in. Big melee here on the front stretch. It's a parking lot. There's the initial contact, and I think Hackathorn just got loose in Cameron Doyle, wrong place, wrong time, and you can see cars just kind of getting involved left and right. You can see Hackathorn there. There's the 76. Oh, look at that. Dilly going backwards on the racetrack. That's the 7 of Huffines. And Josh Robinson, they're getting involved. My, oh my, big accident. This is the big one here at Myrtle Beach. And unfortunately for BJ Tidrick, he thought he was through it and just got hooked there right at the end. So my, oh my, this is a big accident with 24 laps to go. And unfortunately, it took out some of your contenders up there. Matt Hackathorn being one of those. And we talked to him a little bit earlier. There you go, slow-mo. And This shape of this front stretch definitely didn't help. Luckily for Casey Tillman, he kind of worked through that one. And you see Tidrick making the move. Casey Garber there in the number 96 machine having a good run here tonight. I haven't really mentioned him all too much, but Garber now sitting in 4th after that melee. Carlos, my oh my. Here you see Gormley and Frazier, 2 of your points contenders, getting a piece of it. Wow.
It's just carnage there, as I believe the 84 Matt Heckler will be taking the top for that. Doesn't really matter for him, as considering he's going to be in pit road, and think his night will be done. It's a real shame for Matt, because he had, if not the fastest car, maybe the 2nd or 3rd fastest vehicle out there tonight, and just will not have the results, as he's currently 2 laps down and still in pit road. As I don't know, Peter. That being said, Matt knows he has a fast car. Maybe he'll go into that tomorrow's race with the confidence, knowing that he has what it takes to be up there. Maybe he'll just need to save a little bit more throughout the process of the race tomorrow. Oh no, tomorrow's at a different racetrack. What am I saying?
Yeah, tomorrow
that confidence is gone.
Oil Raceway.
Oh man, and that is a different racetrack compared to this one right here. And Peter, it's just a bad situation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very, very interesting. Gotta give a shout out to Trobes in the chat. Of course, Kathy Rose always in the chat making some noise. And come on, Bart. And good for Bart, because Bart Hector Jr. now finds himself in the 3rd position. Yeah, great run for Bart Hector, because he's kind of been up and down the scoring pylon here tonight. And now that number 82 machine with Rentz Motorsports. Unfortunately, Greg Rentz not able to be in the booth with us here this week on 3YT. But it's got Greg Rentz out there on the racetrack with Rentz Motorsports on the back end of that number 82 machine. There he goes by the camera. And Casey Garber, like I said, good run for him in the 4th position. Ryan Gormley, good recovery for him in the 5th position. I'll tell you what, Carlos, the cream rises to the top, and that's why Ryan Gormley, Seth Frazier, and Bart Hector Jr. are your top 3 in points. Not in that order, but out there on the racetrack trying to get as many points as the green flag back in the air. And there goes the number 39 machine trying to control it once again. Jason Templeton has led most of this show. Now Casey Tillman finds himself back in the 2nd position. What can Tillman do? Remember, Tillman lost the lead to Templeton about 100 laps ago now. And Bart Hector now finding himself in the top 3 for the first time. So this could be an interesting finish to the end of this race, Carlos. A couple new players up towards the front, Garber and Hector, as well as Gormley, but the laps are winding down.
Yeah, that's something I initially didn't expect to happen. I just thought that these guys, these fast drivers, were just going to be stuck away at the rear. But this race has started to become slowly just a little bit of a race of attrition, as Gormley, who had a bunch of damage in the early part of the race, but has been doing his best to just hang out in the back, not cause any more incidents. And look where he's at right now, 5th place with 17 laps to go. As while the race is not over and things can still happen, he's in a prime position to get himself definitely a much better finish than what was originally looking like for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Can report that Matt Hackathorn has taken his machine to the garage. He's absolute dejected after that contact with the number 6 machine. I know I've been in that situation, Matt, and it is never a fun thing being up there in the front and getting involved in an accident. It happened to me one time going for a championship in a championship finale, and it is not a fun thing to have happen. But nonetheless, we have some great racing action here from the 3rd position, or really the 2nd position, all the way back until about 7th. 7th spot's where you find Seth Frazier, and then you find a car length or 2 back to the number 4 of Shane Quinn. But this little gaggle of cars starting to look really, really racy. Casey Tillman got checked up a little bit there in the center of the corner. Bart Hector Jr. had to back it up just a little bit, and I think part of that's just this unique shape of this racetrack. The 92 kind of diamonding his corners a little bit. Bart Hector kind of rolling the center. And there you see once again that number 92 just kind of moseying on down the racetrack right in front of the nose of Hector. So Very interesting to see as Hector now trying to use that high line, trying to get the power down. Not quite able to do so. You see him get a little bit loose there. Now we have a side-by-side battle for fourth. This is Casey Garber on the outside, Ryan Gormley on the inside. They're very tight. And here comes Sean Brightsman. Wow. Sean Brightsman up there in near the top 5. Remember, Sean Brightsman was basically the center of accidents early on. It seemed like he got involved in the first 3 accidents here tonight, but he's got that number 46 machine going back forward in that Federated Auto Parts race car. So very cool to see that, as Gormley might have just thrown up some sparks there coming out of turn number 4. Couldn't quite tell.
Oh, no!
The 44, Gormley and Brightsman come together, and Gormley hard in the outside wall. That is not what Ryan Gormley wanted to have happen, and I believe I'm going to have to see if Sean Brightsman took any earlier caution flags, but he'll have to take this one. I'm sure he'll tap for this. Indeed, he has. He's already tapped for it. But there's that contact there. Oh, did he tap for it? He did tap for it, yes. Let's see if we can get maybe a aerial view. Here we go. So the 44 on the outside. Okay, so it's a 96 that scraped the wall. The 46 down there on the inside groove. And the 44.
Yeah.
Oof, that's really tight there, Carlos. You're right.
It's a racing incident for sure, though.
Yeah, that is a tough call. Brightsman has taken it. But you can kind of see Brightsman's trying to hold his line. And the 44 there, I think, trying to come down the racetrack possibly just a little bit. I think they just kind of, 2 race cars meet in the same spot on the racetrack and leads to some contact. And it's very tricky. If we can go to maybe the blimp camera of the racetrack to kind of see if I can explain. Can't really explain it, unfortunately, from that view. Maybe we can go on board with one of these race cars as they go through turn number 1 and 2 this time. Yeah, here we go. So watch this inside groove, Carlos, because there's these dashed lines in that inside groove, but look at the proximity right there. The proximity to the inside white line where the curves are, it changes. And so if I'm Ryan Gormley on the outside, I'm kind of gauging my position of my car relative to those dashed white lines. But I'm Brightsman down there on the inside of the racetrack. I am too. But the problem is that the white line on the inside of the track and the dashed line come together a little bit. It narrows up, and I think that could possibly be one of the reasons for that collision between the 46 and the 44. But that's kind of a unique thing. I haven't really seen that in any other racetrack. Watch this. Right about there, you can see that the dashed line just kind of shoots off towards the inside groove. Very unique, very narrow down there at that point, and then it kind of widens up here as you reach exit of the corner. So I haven't seen another racetrack like that ever before, and that's something that these drivers are, I think that's something these drivers kind of have to overcome here tonight. But very, very interesting to see that. But caution flag once again in the air here at this racetrack. 6 laps to go. I think laps to go this time. Yes, pace car lights are off, so we're going to have a 4-lap shootout here in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. Got to give a shout out to Mountain View Polaris, Moses Lake, Washington for giving the purse for the Mountain View Classics Twin 150s. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night for Lucas Oil Raceway. But we're going to have a little bit of a short track shootout here. Carlos, take it away.
Yeah, this is going to be the important one, as we're not expecting to have another restart after this. And let's take a look. There's a 92 right up the rear bumper. Of course, that actually becomes a hindrance as the number 39 of Jason Tomlinson just gets a fantastic restart. And it's looking to be nice and clear entering turns 1 and 2. 4 laps to go in this quick race, Peter. I think Casey may have not timed that restart perfectly.
Yeah, he definitely was able to time that to his liking, and now you can see he's trying to make up for it here with now only 3 laps to go around this racetrack. And here comes Bart Hector Jr. What can Hector Jr. do? Can he get up into the 2nd position? Can possibly Casey Garber get a top 3 podium finish Shane Quinn, remember, he's a winner multiple times. He's been involved in accidents tonight. He's now inside the top 5 as Casey Tillman goes wide, and here comes Hector Jr. on the inside. This is going to be a battle for the second position here with only 2 laps to go. Going into turn number 3 and 4, white flag is going to be in the air for Templeton. There's no one who's going to catch him unless he makes a grave mistake, but this is going to be the battle for that second position. I know Kathy Rosen in the chat, I'm sure she's on her seat here because Bart Hector Joe, contact there between Hector Jr. and Tillman. Checkered flag is in the flagman's hand. Coming out of turn number 4, who's going to get second? Templeton takes the checkered flag, and Casey Tillman's going to come across the line and finish in second position. Hector Jr. third, but wow, what a finish for that second position. Casey Garber comes home 4th, and what about that recovery for Shane Quinn in the number 4 machine? A really great finish there, Carlos, to what was a very exciting race.
Yeah, and there's the replay right there of them coming down to the start-finish line. Very, very close. And 92 of Casey Tillman just edges out Bart Hector Jr. with 4th place being Casey Garber. What a close finish. Look at over there, the number 20 of Nick Bellamy getting loose. I think making contact with the 6 and the outside wall. This has been a fantastic race to watch. Let's go see what the race leader is doing. As I believe the race leader has been doing some burnouts. As I believe for the first time we have missed a burnout. So thankfully that guy who tells us that we missed the burnouts is not here.
Well, I gotta say, Carlos, that finish there, going across the start-finish line, that was really impressive to see Nick Bellamy get to try and save that car. And also we saw Cameron Doyle in the number 6 machine in the outside wall there coming out of turn number 4. So a very exciting finish. But we're going to step away for a brief moment. We're going to play some commercials for you here from the Northwest Store presented by Joe's Racing Products. We're going to line up some interviews, and we'll be right back with you here on 3 Wide TV.
Hi, I'm Brad Morrison with Mountain View Players. Tired of being cooped up all winter long? Tired of your old lady complaining about this and that? let's give her something to complain about. Come on down and see us here at Mountain View Polaris. We got a great selection on side-by-sides. ATVs, and even a few snowmobiles. We also have products for the kids. We've also been known to do a deal over a good old bottle of tequila, or hell, even a simple coin flip. It's always easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission. So come see us, Mountain View Polaris.
All right, everyone, welcome back, Myrtle Beach Speedway, and got to give a special shout out to Mountain View Polaris, of course, putting up the prize money for this week's twin races, the Mountain View Classic Twin 150's, and our first of which is now in the books, and we got a couple of interviews lined up for you, and the first of those will be the third place finisher, that being the number 82 machine of Bart Hector Jr., and I'll tell you what, we got some Bart Hector Jr. fans in the chat here tonight, and Bart, you're joining us now here live on 3Y TV. Tell us a little bit about your night, because it looked like it was kind of up and down the scoring pylon, but you come away with it with a top 3 finish, and of course that's going to be very good for your point situation.
I mean, I'm still shaking after that one. I had to rest here for a second. Yeah, just right place, right time on a lot of those, missing the wrecks, and there's better cars behind me for sure, but I was still happy to end up with a third, even though it was close. Tillman got a little tight going into one, and I drove it in there, and it was a good race.
Yeah, definitely made for some excitement there in the last few laps when Tillman washed up the racetrack, like you said. Side by side there towards the end, it looked like it was fairly difficult to pass around this racetrack. Also, the fact that it's a unique shape. How were you able to tackle that unique shape here tonight?
Oh, it was pretty near impossible to pass unless somebody got loose off. Doing it to themselves, that's about your only chance to pass them. And like at the end there, guys were losing the back ends, and that's what was causing the wreck. So it was just, who was the better driver today? And Templeton was a better driver.
Yeah, really, Templeton, once he took the lead, he never looked back, but really good recovery for you in that number 82 machine here tonight, and of course, in the points battle, and now, some of the stress is off for tomorrow night when we go to Lucas Oil Raceway, which should be a very interesting race in itself. What are your thoughts about going there tomorrow?
It's an okay track for me. I got 5th or 6th the last couple of years, so we'll see. I'll probably get on and do a bunch of practice tomorrow. Like today, I didn't hop on here till 5:30 probably to get my first lap, so still got 3rd though.
Well, definitely a fantastic showing for you here tonight, and your Aunt Kathy has to say that you made her proud here tonight, so that's a little bit of a shout out from the chat window here on this broadcast. So, but before we let you go, Bart, you got any other shout outs for us?
Just like I do when I get podium, thanks Sandy Fuller for the computer, man. Makes it a lot easier to race when you got good graphics. Shout out to my Aunt Kathy. I love you. Thanks for watching.
All right. Well, Bart, we'll let you get back to it tomorrow night, and we're looking forward to that race. And of course, you finished 3rd here tonight. $100 goes to the highest average finisher from the 2 Classic Twin 150's, of course, brought to you by Mountain View Polaris. Any thoughts about that $100 ending up in your pocket tomorrow night?
Hey, I'm going for it, man. But I'm going to go for it clean, though. So maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right. Well, hopefully you do end up talking to us at the end of tomorrow night and end up the winner of that cash. But even if you don't, best of luck tomorrow night, and we hope to talk to you again here pretty soon on 3Y TV.
Cool. Thank you. And thanks to Brad Morrison putting up that money. He's one of my good buddies.
Absolutely. Brad Morrison, one of those drivers, and also Polaris dealer from the Mountain View Polaris in Moses Lake, Washington. So pretty darn cool. All right, well, let's see if we can get the second one dialed up. And Carlos, let's see if you can get Casey Tillman up here in the booth with us.
That's right. I got Casey Tillman here in the booth. Hi, Casey. This is Carlos from
Hello.
TV. He is that we took care of these issues there, Peter. But yeah, Casey led 43 laps here tonight, ultimately finishing second. But I gotta say, you definitely had a fast car tonight. I think the lowest position, yeah, right there, the lowest position you even had tonight was fourth. How was your night overall? And is there anything you could have done to maybe get yourself in the front?
Man, I struggled with, not getting super loose coming off. So I was really trying to like almost park it in the center and get it like a really good straight drive off. So I was struggling with that, where some of those guys were just letting it kind of hang out and that. And, I was just trying to stay top 5 all night was the biggest thing. So I just kind of was being a little conservative. Jason ran a hell of a race, and, hats off to him for getting under me in that. And then tough break for, Hackathorn and, Cameron. Those guys were both fast as well. Just a kind of a shitty deal there. Played out in my favor, but sucks for them.
That's true. Moving on, we are going to IRP, Lucas Oil Raceway, O'Reilly Raceway Park, whatever you want to call it, tomorrow for the second part of the doubleheader, the Mountain View Polaris Classics Twin 150's. Are you excited for that racetrack? Are you excited for that race?
Yeah, I am. I'm excited for that track. Hopefully we got a decent setup tonight. I felt like this setup was a little bit on the free side coming off, which made it really hard to kind of pass people. So I'm really hoping we got a good setup that we can put on a good show tomorrow night. I think that last year, if I'm correct, that's where I picked up my first win for the series, was at Lucas Oil last year. So hopefully we can back it up with a good top 5 finish again.
Well, we'll see. And one of the awesome things for a Mountain View Polaris, so shout out to them for sponsoring this classic, this inaugural classic, is that the highest finishing driver for both of these two races, I believe their combined points, will be getting a prize reward of $100, second place $50, and third place $25. Is that any of that in your mind going into these races and how you can approach the race tomorrow?
First off, I got to give a big shout out to those guys, for stepping on board and sponsoring this. That's a class act for those guys, and we not just me. I think I speak for everybody in the league. We appreciate when they do that. It kind of just, it makes it a little more aggressive, a little more fun, and especially to think you have something to race for. So hats off to those guys. As for going in tomorrow night, I mean, can't really keep that on your mind. That's when things go wrong. Yeah, it'd be nice to have an extra $100 in my pocket, but Jason, he'll be hard. Bart, Casey, Shane, Seth, all those guys have been fast all year long, so they're definitely going to be ones to, keep your I guess you can't slack off by any means. So I guess we'll just go into tomorrow night and just do as best we can, and hopefully we come out with a good. I would like top 3, but I'll give it a top 5 finish.
That's true. Well, Casey, before we do let you go, do you have any shout-outs you want to give out?
Shout out to BJ, Seth, everybody involved in this tour, all the sponsors that come on board. That's awesome for those guys to step up, help us out. Joe's Racing Product for sponsoring the league in that. I got to thank YMC Inc., Pit Stop USA, and PFC Brakes. All those guys helped me out in real life, so I got to give a big shout out to those guys.
All right, well, thank you so much, Casey. We'll look forward to hopefully seeing you tomorrow and seeing if we can maybe talk to you in Victory Lane. But we wish you a good night, get some good rest, and see what you got for tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, and I believe Peter Short has caught up with the race winner, Jason Templeton. Peter, are you there?
I am, and Jason Templeton, man, we talked to you not too long ago, and you said that you thought that you had saved enough. You were kind of questioning whether or not you had, but you definitely saved enough because you were able to scoot away on every single restart and take that number 39 machine to victory lane here tonight and getting one leg up on the competition in going for the Mountain View Polaris $100 that have been put up. The highest average finisher over the week. So tell us a little bit about your night and whether you think you have a shot at that $100 tomorrow night.
Yeah, with my schedule, I'm actually not sure if I'll be racing tomorrow. I was definitely able to make the race tonight. It was a lot of fun for sure. I was aggressive early on at getting ahead. I knew once I got to the front, I'd have those restarts down. But I was a little worried about running the tires there at the beginning. It seemed like every time I get a run and pull away from the field, a caution would come out. So I started backing down my runs a little bit, trying to save tires.
Well, you definitely did a good job of it. In fact, there was a lot of cars slipping and sliding right behind you, but it looked like you had those rear tires really hooked up all race long. And sometimes, and I speak from experience here because I've done it myself, sometimes the best way to save tires is just kind of watch your rearview mirror, watch what they're doing behind you. If they start to get a little bit racy, you back off a little bit because they're going to slow up, and you kind of just go your pace and just hold on to that race lead. And I got to say, you did a fantastic job of that here tonight. But, it's a very tricky racetrack. We kind of talked about this earlier. It's just so unique. What was it about this racetrack that fits your driving style? Was it the fact that you could really get into a groove and hit the same line lap after lap, or was it the fact that it had multiple grooves and other drivers were trying out different lines? What just was it that kind of fit your style? Because you were on a tear here tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the tracks that you got to take care of your tires on. One of those tracks that if you're running fast, you're going to wear down your tires fast. So sometimes slow is fast and fast is slow in the long run. So my driving style is more of save the tires and be fast in the long run as opposed to being fast in qualifying. So this is definitely one of those tracks that it was to my advantage.
Well, it was an absolute masterclass that you put on here tonight. And assuming you make it to tomorrow night's race, it is at Lucas Oil Raceway. And then in a couple weeks' time, we go to Phoenix, go out to the desert. Tell us about those two racetracks and whether or not you're expecting to finish high up in those races if you go there.
Yeah, I have not been on Lucas Oil Raceway, but I have been on Phoenix, and Phoenix is a very unique track. It's there's really no other track on the circuit that's anywhere close to the same, so we'll definitely see some newcomers up front for sure at Phoenix.
Well, we're looking forward to that one. Of course, the Mission Valley Super Oval 150 at Phoenix International Raceway is February 23rd, and tomorrow night's second doubleheader for the Mountain View Classic Twin 150. So hopefully you're able to make both of those, Jason, and hopefully you'll be able to go for the $100 put up by Brad Morrison and Mountain View Polaris tomorrow night. Because tell you what, I think a lot of us could do with an extra $100 in our back pocket.
Oh yeah, who wouldn't?
I would.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Peter.
Well, Jason, before we let you go, just want to give you the opportunity to kind of give some shout outs and make your word heard here on 3 Wide TV.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first of all, I want to say thank you to Mountain View Polaris. That's just awesome that they're giving up cash for the league for the prizes. I want to say thank you to my wife. She's watching my 2 kids so that I can hop on here and race. And take care of your all chicken.
All right. Thanks for stopping by here in the 3 Wide TV booth, and we're looking forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Carlos, I think it is about time for us to go through tonight's finishing results and taking the win. Jason Templeton in that number 39 machine. Casey Tillman coming home in second. Bart Hector coming home in third. Good recovery by him to get up through the field. Casey Garber, great run for Casey in that number 96 machine. Shane Quinn, already winner multiple times this year, comes home in fifth. Seth Frazier, your points leader coming into tonight's race, and didn't quite finish as high as Bart Hector Jr., but I'm sure Seth Frazier is going to take a 6th place finish after all he went through tonight. Travis McKinney The 48 machine comes home in 7th. Nick Bellamy had a late tap, and he was able to come home in 8th. Cameron Doyle comes home 9th, and Rusty Webb. I think Rusty Webb was what brought out the first caution tonight. Great recovery to come home with a top 10. Carlos, take away the 11th position.
Yeah, in 11th place, Adam Hallman, the Dial 911 machine, starting all the way up front. Definitely not how he wanted his night to go on, but he's going to move on to tomorrow's race. Thomas O'Hara in 12th. Garrett Huffines in 13th, Eric Shaney in 14th, Ryan Gorman, the rookie sensation, in 15th, not having the night he wanted, getting up there in the top 5 very late in the race, and unfortunately having it all go bad within a couple of laps to go for Gormley. Josh Robinson in 47, he's the number 47, in 16th. Sean Bridesman in 17th, also not having the night he wanted, with Alejandro Mendoza in 18th. Dylan Huffines in 19th, the Huffine brothers. I believe this is the first time they've been in the top 10, at least with us broadcasting them, in points, I should say, and definitely not having the night they wanted. Both the Huffines brothers getting involved in accidents and not having the nights just come even anywhere near close to how they wanted it to be. With BJ Tidrick in 20th, also not having a great time right now. Travis Barnes in 21st, Matt Hackathorn in 22nd. He had a great night going throughout, would have been finishing 2nd or 3rd, and unfortunately had an issue and resulted him finishing all the way down in 22nd. Joshua Beal in 23rd, Christopher Heim in 24th, and Brian Payne in 25th. I'm sure he is feeling the pain right now, Peter.
Well, I gotta say that that's about par for the course for puns here on 3 Wide TV. But hey, we gotta give some. We got to give some shout-outs to some sponsors, of course. We mentioned it multiple times here tonight for the Mountain View Polaris out of Moses Lake, Washington. Go check them out if you need a Polaris side-by-side ATV or any other type of Polaris unit. Thank you for them, of course, sponsoring this week. Got to give a shout-out to Joe's Racing Products for sponsoring the NorthWest Tour here for the super late models that we use here in iRacing. NorthWest Super Late Model Series, go check them out. That's the real world NorthWest Super Late Model Series, that is. And go check them out. Go to your racetrack. Watch them at one of your local racetracks in the Northwest portion of the United States because they put on an absolute show. Got to give thanks to Sarge's Place, Rustic Moon, Hermiston Raceway, Custom Fab, PFC Brakes, Pyrotech, Tidrick's Quality Transmissions, Mike Wood Race Designs, Northwest Race Report, Short Track Racer, Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, Mission Valley Super Oval, State Line Speedway, and of course tonight's sponsor, the Mountain View Polaris out of Moses Lake, Washington. I got to give a few shout-outs for us here personally on 3 Wide TV. Our friends over at SimTV for the camera angles we saw tonight. The digger can that you see right there on your screen is courtesy of SimTV, and of course the graphics package of OCR and our friend Thomas Morris. But for myself, Peter Short, and Carlos Acosta, we bid each and every one of you good night, but we'll see you tomorrow night, same place, same time here on 3Y TV for the second of the 2 Mountain View Classic Twin 150s at Lucas Oil Raceway. We'll see you then. See ya!
Whew. That was a good broadcast. Right before we ended, I banged my toe up against it. It hurts so